Hey, what's up, everybody? Tommy Meyer here. Welcome to Tommy Tonight. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2 videos in a week after not doing a video for almost a month? Well, when it rains, it pours, and when it pours, Donald Trump doesn't go out because he doesn't want his hair to get disheveled. At least, that's what it says according to an article from The Atlantic titled Trump, Americans Who Died in War Are Losers and Suckers. According to the article, Trump canceled his trip to visit a World War I cemetery in France in 2018 because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain, saying, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." Okay, first of all, there are plenty of ways to keep your hair from getting disheveled. You're literally famous for one of them. Why do you think Lincoln wore that hat to Gettysburg? "The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget how great my hair looks." Also, have you never heard of an umbrella? Of course you have. Here's a picture of you not holding it for Melania. Or, oh, have umbrellas just refused to work with you after you abandoned that one on the tarmac? If that's not a metaphor for how Trump treats our soldiers, I don't know what is. Now, the Atlantic article had a number of other damning statements in it. He was apparently furious when the flags were lowered to half-staff after John McCain died, saying, "We're not going to support that loser's funeral." He asked staff not to include wounded veterans in his dumb little parade, saying nobody wants to see that. And apparently, when accompanying John Kelly to his son's grave, John Kelly's son was killed in Afghanistan in 2010. He turned to Kelly and he said, "I don't get it. What was in it for them?" Now, Kelly at first thought that this was some kind of profound statement about service to one's country, but then he later came to realize that Trump meant it very literally. It's like your friends saying that they just don't get life, and then you realize they're talking about the board game. "I don't get it. Where's the card for your dad giving you $1 million? Now, according to a friend of John Kelly's, Trump finds the notion of military service difficult to understand, and the idea of volunteering to serve especially incomprehensible. The friend said he can't fathom the idea of doing something for someone other than himself, and that he just thinks that anyone who does anything when there's no direct personal gain has to be a sucker. Maybe that's why he loves the Bible so much. Such a hilarious book. That Jesus guy was a moron. His words, not mine. His words. Speaking of John Kelly, he is someone who's featured a lot in this article. In fact, he could probably clear this whole thing up. As Trump's defenders have rightly pointed out, the story is based on anonymous sources. It would be great to have somebody go on the record to either confirm or deny these stories. Man, I hope Trump's being nice to John Kelly.
I know John Kelly. He was with me, didn't do a good job, had no temperament, and ultimately he was petered out. He was exhausted. This man was totally exhausted. He wasn't even able to function.
He's an idiot. Also, I love it when Trump doesn't even realize that he's saying something that's actually an indictment of himself. He said working for me was the most exhausting job he ever had, prayed for death every day, told me he'd rather be in a war zone than work in my White House. He was weak. Now, as I said earlier, the story is based on the accounts of 4 anonymous sources, and Trump's defenders have jumped on that to say that it's fake news. Look, anonymous sources are not ideal, and they can be a controversial topic, but they are an integral part of journalism and have been for a long time. Deep Throat was an anonymous source. The entire Watergate scandal wouldn't have happened without anonymous sources. By the way, don't do a Google image search for Deep Throat. Just don't do it. Just trust me. You don't want to learn the hard way. 538 has a good primer on when to trust a story that uses anonymous sources. According to them, there are a number of reasons a source may want to stay anonymous. Some are noble, like a whistleblower who may face retribution for leaking details to a reporter. Some are not, like White House aides who don't like each other and just want to complain about each other anonymously. Now, when reading articles attributed to anonymous sources, look for the number of sources. Generally, the more sources, the more likely it is to be true. Also, look for specifics the author uses when describing the source, such as when an outlet says 6 White House officials or 7 Department of Justice officials. It's providing a level of precision that makes it more trustworthy. Going back to the Atlantic article, it's attributed to 4 people with firsthand knowledge of the discussion that day. Now, 4 people makes me more likely to trust it. However, the article could have been more specific about how these people had the firsthand knowledge. Another important thing to factor in is whether other reporters or outlets are able to confirm a story. Remember, BuzzFeed had an article in like 2017 or 2018 claiming that Trump ordered Michael Cohen to lie to investigators. Now, after that was published, outlets tried feverishly to confirm it, but nobody could. And I think most people, myself included, believe that that probably didn't happen. In this case, both the AP and Fox News were able to confirm parts of the story, with the AP quoting a senior Defense Department official with firsthand knowledge of events and a senior U.S. Marine Corps officer who was told about Trump's comments. That is a much greater level of precision. Among the things that the AP confirmed is the fact that Trump said he didn't want to visit the cemetery because it's filled with losers. Now, Fox News reporter Jennifer Griffin tweeted that 2 former senior Trump administration officials confirmed that Trump didn't want the flags lowered to half-staff after John McCain's death, saying, "Why do you see him as a hero?"
I mean, come on, he doesn't even have superpowers. Where's his cape?
Trump is a supervillain. He spends a lot of time around heroes. Now, the president, of course, has denied the allegations. The problem is, even Trump's denial has provably false statements in it, like when he says that he never called John McCain a loser. He did. We know that because it's on tape. We know that because he literally tweeted it out. Not a good look, dude. Not a good look. I'd say this is somewhere on par with tennis Trump. Now, how this is going to affect the election remains to be seen, though. This is a man who disparaged a war hero and a Gold Star family, bragged about sexually assaulting women, was accused by dozens of women of sexual assault, called for a ban on Muslims entering the country, made racist comments about Mexicans, encouraged Russia to interfere in our election, did it all out in the open, and we still elected him president. So forgive me if I'm skeptical that this is going to be the thing that sinks him. As Trump said,
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
which reminds me, if you're protesting in New York this week, please be careful. That's all the time I got for you. I'm Tommy Meyer. This is Tonight, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of my videos by commenting down below. And if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to me on the YouTube or share this with a friend. The possibilities are 3. Good night.